Hey, what's going on, fellow collectors? I went to the bank on the way home from work and picked up 150 bucks in ones. So that way I can do 3 separate videos, not bore the heck out of you. And we'll go through stacks of them. I won't go too slow through them. I usually kind of talk a lot about the bills as I go, but we'll start with whatever, this one. We'll go through it, see if we can find anything that is collectible or at least is collectible or worth more than face value. So first off, I look at serial numbers, I look at overall print, I look at, of course, condition is 9/10 of the law. Some folds and little curves you can get out of it by, putting books and stuff or heavy stuff on it. But if they're damaged, that's going to detract from value. I like to look at just a lot of different stuff, overall errors, so I'll kind of run you through those quickly as I look through these. All beat up. 2021 series, no change in design coming up along with the other denominations of US notes. We're going to, they say we're going to see the $10 design soon. So I will cover that on the channel if you're into the designs of bills. We should see a lot of 2017, 2021, maybe some 2013 series in here. Extra ink on the third digit just because I dropped in on one here. You can see it without me zooming in. You can kind of see how that 0 there is extra inked than its counterpart. This is really common. I would say it's within, like, acceptable range, so to speak. Same dealio when you see kind of excessive ink and you can see Washington's coat poking through. Unless you can see the whole portrait, I never see those sell really above face value. But if you think I'm wrong, link me to something in the comments. I love seeing sales of stuff. And nothing going on. Let me know while you are watching this video what you are coming across in any of your collectible searches. So it doesn't matter if you collect coins, banknotes, whatever. Let me know if you collect something else and what you're looking for or what you just found. Nothing crazy so far. A lot of that excess of ink kind of coming through here. You can see a little bit of shadowing of ink kind of from when they re-ink everything and they print so many sheets of notes. Also, you can see wet ink transfers sometimes. You'll see that really prevalent on the reverse of notes, where you'll see different things of the design from the obverse of another note transposed over. I'll stop flipping it all around. But basically, when they print them, sometimes they're still wet. They haven't dried all the way. They cut them into singular notes, stack them, and then sometimes the ink transfers over. If it's really, really heavy, you can see those sell on eBay, sometimes on heritage auctions for a bit of money, usually like the 20 to 30% over face value range. Nothing crazy there. Keep an eye out on the reverse. I'll point out some stuff when we get to this one. Really beat up. Somebody blew their nose in this one, and it's been wet. On the back, around small, intricate detail points, lettering, where it says Annuit Septis, Novus Ordo Seclorum. Up here, the United States of America. Sometimes you'll see some kind of bleeding of ink. It's usually not too heavy, but if you are ever seeing a excessive amount of ink there, then you might have an ink error. Of course, keep an eye out for collectible serial numbers. Nothing crazy there. Back of the note. I always like to keep an eye out for birthday notes, star notes. Of course, lack of ink on the serial numbers. I got really lucky for the first time in a long, long time. Found a great error in the last video. So if you're interested in that, it's a nice shifted serial number. Nothing nuts so far. I am covering some mismatched serial numbers and a bunch of bill stuff. So if you want to collect the money that's already in your wallet, if it's worth more money, then watch that stuff. I'll show you what to look for. Nothing there. 2, 3, 4, 5. Almost a broken ladder. A lot of people like those. Ladder notes especially if they're in order. Kind of a better condition there. 777s, that's kind of cool. Really close, actually, to a double repeater, or I guess a kind of a trinary repeater. If I would have had a 7 here, I would have held on to it. So all 7s in the front, then 3, 5, 3, 5. I have a buddy of mine that picks those up pretty regularly, especially if they're dollars, since they're kind of a personal collectible of his. Then he'll pay me a few bucks for it. But Really good condition ones, even trinaries like that with 7s, 3s, and 5s if it had them, can sell for pretty good money sometimes. And must miss one there. O2. Look for birthday notes. Those are also fun. In the last video, I was also informed that April does not have 31 days, so thank you for informing me of my inability to know the calendar. And nothing crazy so far. I'm going a little quicker through them so that way I'm not just eating up 20 minutes of me searching through ones. Kind of an excessive print here. A little bit of a stuck digit 7, but it's tiny. You can see how it's just a hair higher than the 9. If they're way off, dramatically askew from the rest of the serial number, then those can be worth pretty good money. 2021, missing a little bit of the series, the 1 in the series date, the year here. However, with the damage to the note, I could say that it's probably just a condition issue rather than some sort of error. The processes of printing, if you're interested in that, it isn't a separate video of mine. Just check it out on the channel, and I kind of talk about the different phases of printing, what happens during them, but really the important part, the valuable notes and errors that you can find because of those phases. So mainly, what bills can you make money off of? So check those videos out. It's in the playlist, Basics to Banknotes. Hey, I saw something cool beyond this one. I like to keep an eye out while I'm on this, though, of the Great Seal is what they call it. But the seal here, which is the eagle and the crest and all that stuff, and the pyramid here, I like to keep an eye out on this side since I was talking about the pyramid earlier in the video. All these intricate details, mainly kind of referencing the number 13 in reference to the 13 colonies and some other stuff. But where all these intricate lines are, I have seen quite a few issues with ink smears and drags that have sold for good money. Now, I haven't been lucky enough to find one, but they are something that is out there and exists on anything from early 2000s to around 2017s. I haven't seen any newer ones, though, but keep an eye out for that. I did see this star note. Nothing in the serial number. This thing looks like it has some moisture damage, but if you watch any of my videos, you know that I love star notes. They are not made anymore. The new technology of printing did away with them, so I won't bore you. You can check out my other videos. Real quick error is you can look for filled star notes where the star here, excess of ink got put down and filled in the star. But aside from that, back to what I was saying, the new technology, LEPI, but that's neither here nor there, but the LEPI technology, essentially in short, can bundle bills together. So before, when things, bill error happened, they would replace it with a replacement note with a star. Now, these bills don't even necessarily need to be in sequential order as far as serial number. If there's an error or damage to a note creating an error during the printing process, they don't need to do a star note anymore. They can just skip right on, and then they can bundle notes together into straps of 100 in the case of $1 notes. And then at the banks, they sometimes bust them down into the $50 ones. So they won't need star notes. In short, I said all that to say this, which is I think you should collect star notes, because over time, they're going to gain value. Now, it's going to take a while, but if you hold on to them, I think they're going to gain value. So especially the ones that are in really good condition, this not being one of them. But I love star notes, and it's only $1 bill, so I'm going to set it aside. Sorry to talk your head off there, but I really want to just drive home that the new changes in technology, even affect, anything to include currency in the making of it. So the manufacturing of currency or the production of it is even affected by new technology coming out. Nothing there. I'll go a little quicker now that I went way on about that. This is a funky serial number. You can see where the rotary kind of system that prints the serial number. was all askew here. It's due to a lack of lubrication on it, so it gets kind of jammed up. Now this one is a little funky, where the 3's higher than the 2, 2's lower than the 3. Like I said, unless they're really dramatic, they're nothing to call home about. This is another thing, these little marks down here on the bottom of the bill. If they're in kind of a teeth format, that's from the counting machines at the bank, through ATMs, kind of so on and so forth. So don't confuse that with an error. Nothing going on there. 2021, not bad condition. The last one, a couple back, was also really nice. This is what I was talking about. So if I can get my camera to focus, if you can see how it's harder to see here and here, but you can see 3 marks here. And the same dealio on this side. It's just where it gets grabbed by a counting system, but they're like never cleaned. Plus, I think it's probably impossible in some cases with the amount of money that goes through a bank. But it'll leave that mark on there, thus damaging the bill after production. So, taking away from value, not adding to it. This one's really bad. Look at that. Bam! Nothing there, though. Nothing crazy going on. Lots of 7s in that one. We're getting down there. There's like 15 bucks left. We can make it kind of a date note. I guess it is. Somebody was born on the February 13th, the year 660, right? Sorta. So this is an example, but really you're shooting for stuff, say, a bit more modern. February 13th, 1990 or something like that. Birthday notes are really wonderful. Date notes are really wonderful, especially if they have something that's really cool in history that happened on that date. So I'm actually going to keep this one for novelty, really. I am not saying it's worth more than $1. Condition-wise, not bad. Probably one of the better $1 bills we've had in the whole search, sadly, despite even this one looking like somebody stomped it out after they got it back in change. It's a little shifted up, but unless the shift's off-center entirely is a miscut, or it's misaligned where it's kind of riding the edge of the note, it's not an error. But still kind of cool. Kind of a quasi-birthday note, I'd say. Plus, I got to make up for thinking there's 31 days in April, right? Nothing there. Getting down there. Bunch of 3s, some free blood and boogers, or whatever that is. We'll pass on that one. Back of the note folded up. Taped together. But as long as you have 50% or more of a bill, you can always trade it in at a bank. This one's seen its day, 2017A. Lots of star notes in 2013, 2017, 2017A. Those runs, just for some reason, they just couldn't get it right. Tons of star notes to find. This one's probably the worst condition so far. Holy 2s. 2017. I for Minneapolis. Nothing's changed on 1s in many, many years. I believe early 60s, late 50s is when they added "In God We Trust" to the back of the note. Aside from that, a little bit of difference in the actual printing technology like we talked about, but nothing changed design-wise. Same with $2 notes. They haven't changed at all either. So, and they're not up on the block 4 change, so we're not going to see anything. I guess they just figured, hey, 1s and 2s, there's too many of them. There's a crap ton out in circulation, and we don't want to change them up enough. So we're going to keep them the same. I'm looking forward to seeing the new designs, though. 2021, so nothing going on. Saw some really cool mismatched serial numbers sell. I'll make a video about those, so I'm not boring you here. Nice repetition with the 2s, but I'm not going to hold on to it. Trying to go quick here so I can let you guys go. Enjoy your bill searches or whatever you're doing this evening on a beautiful Tuesday night. And nothing going on. I'm still satisfied with our finds. I'll take a beat up star note any day, man. They don't all have to be worth $1 million. That's the fun of this hobby, in my opinion. Other than the history behind notes and going to like museums and looking at old currency, I love that part of it. But I absolutely love that even if you go through your money, your coins, or your pocket paper money or whatever, your ones, you go to the bank and get a $50 strap like this, and you find absolutely nothing you still have the money you started with, which is awesome. You're not gambling. I mean, you're having the fun of a hunt, but you know, you're not losing money like a lot of other hobbies I have. I mean, heck, I buy models to paint and stuff for my truck, and yet probably don't make money back on that. So worst case, I end up with what I had. Anyway, so kind of cool birthday note, date note, February 13th, 660. This one's also kind of has a little bit of a skew serial number on the end, but kind of a fun note. And then if you watch any of my videos, you know I love star notes. So I'm going to keep this bad boy here. It's nice and beat up, but I have a nice little flip album. I keep this kind of stuff in. And then I have some nice top loaders and a really nice 3-ring binder with these hard shells that I keep the real spicy stuff in. But this guy can make it into my dollar bill star note collection, which is getting vast. And maybe, you know, if something happens, will be some rainy day money, worst case. Let me know what you've come across in, of course, your paper currency searches, but also what you're finding in your pocket change. And like I said, I have been getting some cool messages with some pictures through email and stuff like that on Facebook and Instagram with some great finds in comic books, toys, old Warhammer books, historical stuff. So please keep sending that. Please keep commenting that in the comments, wherever that is. Comment that, but hopefully you find something awesome, so good luck in your searches. I'll see you in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out, guys. Have an awesome day.